So in this particular tutorial, I want to talk with you about adhesive. I know this is a big pain for a lot of lash artists, and I want to help you out based on our brand. In particular time, we care bond adhesive and we care chic adhesive. It's two different drying time, and I want to go and deep in and explain you why do we need that, so you don't have problems anymore. So what do we know about adhesive? Our main ingredients, it's a cyanoacrylate, right? It's a chemical ingredient what create the bond between the lash and natural lash. Our lash, what we're working with, in the natural lash of a client. So the second ingredient in our glue, it's a stabilizator agent. It's a very important ingredient because just because of that ingredient, the whole glue bottle doesn't dry inside. And that's the reason why we need it. Why we need to know about stabilizator agent. When we open up the glue, oxygen going inside of the glue bottle, and pretty much the stabilizator agents start to evaporate. So the longer we have a bottle, the bigger the bottle, the less effective a glue in the end of like a month. The reason why every single manufacturer and every single brand is telling you to change your glue every month, that's because of the stabilizator agent. I will recommend to change the bottle every 2 to 3 weeks. So that's the reason why our bottles are only 5 milligrams, because I believe we need to change the glue much more often than like 1 month. I personally, when I'm working, I put the label on my glue, like when do I open it, and I change it religiously every 2 weeks. Cyanoacrylate, that's the most important ingredient what we particularly working with. Cyanoacrylate create the bond. Without these ingredients, pretty much no bond happening. We need to know everything about it. We need to know how to work with that. Pretty much in our brand, our glue working with 40 to 60% of humidity, it's like ideal. But what if you're working in different environment and this is not ideal for you? Okay, so pretty much we working in different seasons. We working in different cities. It's a different humidity and different temperature. If you be able to buy like humidifier and dehumidifier for your particular studio, that's amazing. But what, for example, if you're working and glue working for you, and then something happen outside, like a rain start, and this completely change your whole temperature, your whole humidity in the room, and now the glue doesn't work. So let's figure out how we can help ourselves in a studio situation when, for example, humidity change outside, right? Now it's a 70% of humidity. And what does it mean for cyanoacrylate? Cyanoacrylate work when it's humid around. So as soon as it's very high humidity, your glue and your adhesive, whatever you like call it, it's just work right away. It's so fast. Sometimes it's dry before you apply it into the lash, and that's the biggest mistake, because glue are very tricky. When you apply it, it looks like it's kind of like create the bond, but when the clients come out from you and in a week everything is shedding, it's just because the glue actually dry before you apply it onto the lash. This is two ways what you can do to be able to like help yourself in this situation. The first way is to actually have 2 different dry timing glue in your studio. Because if it's actually start to become very humid in the studio, you need to work with the slower glue. The slower glue will work as a fast glue when it's a high humidity in the room. And second way, you can work with a microdot. I don't know how to explain it yet, but I will show you later and explain when and why you need to use it. But first, before we're going to go into the microdot world, we're going to talk about how you can control your humidity and temperature to be able to work with the glue and accommodate the glue needs. Imagine you don't have 2 different glue in your studio. You only have like fast drying glue. Will you be able to slow it down? Of course. By working with the 2 main things what we have, humidity and the temperature, we be able to control the dry time for the glue. If you have 0.5 second and I don't know, your humidity are really high, what you need to do is you need to buy a dehumidifier. I know not everybody can be able to do it. If you don't have a dehumidifier, you need to lower the temperature. And again, you can work with a microdot. I know I still didn't show it to you what it is, but just keep it going and stay tuned. It can be a different situation. You're working with a slow glue and you have low humidity and pretty much okay temperature, right? But your humidity very low and moisture, what we have in a room, it's not enough for the cyanoacrylate to be able to bond with the lash. That's the most annoying thing for a lash artist. I feel your pain, but you'll be able to change it. All what you need to have a humidifier in your room and make the humidity higher. If you don't have a humidifier, try this. Try to have any type of like debonder or something what can increase the dry time for the glue, and just simply use a little bit on your lash strip. I will suggest to use only like 1 millimeter, one at a time, because it's also evaporate, and try it out. But guys, this is very important. That's like crucial. When you do stuff like that and you're trying to accommodate your glue, check your lashes. When you apply the lash on a lash of a natural lash of the client, please give it a time to dry, come back to this lash and make sure it's actually stick, because you don't know if you worked correctly and you don't want to do a full set and only in the end understand that you didn't work with the glue in a correct way. So let's talk about microdot. I know you was all waiting for it. What it is, why we use it, and when we using it. So microdot can help you out when you're working with any type of the lashes. You can work with the classic, you can work with the volume, and what it is, it's when actually you take your fan, what you have, and you apply it 90 degrees into the glue, and the dot, it's like a mini dot in the end of the fan. The reason why we have it, because when it's a circle, it doesn't polymerize as fast as it's just when it's all over the lash, right? And pretty much it slowed down the process for you. If you're working with 0.5 second drying time, when you apply it, because of the microdot in the end, what's happening, it's give you the time to adjust the lash. If you're working, like as I mentioned before, with 0.5 second drying time and your humidity are very high, your glue drying instantly in the time when you're just applying it, right? So what you need with a microdot, it gives you the time, guys. So I'll show you right now what microdot is, how it's supposed to look, and how you pick it up from the glue. Mostly of you guys will work with a microdot when it's a high temperature. For example, if you're in the summertime, or if you are based in Florida and you have high temperature and high humidity, you need to pick it up a little bit more of a glue and work with a slower glue to be able to glue to work, right? All what you want for your clients, it's retention. Clients come back to you when it's a good retention. So know your glue as like your 5 fingers, for example. When you will not use the microdot, if your client have a lot of lashes and a lot of lashes have a baby hair, that will create stickiness with the baby hair. So please don't use that technique, in particularly when a client have a lot of baby hair, because it's just gonna create the stickiness. You pretty much will not be able to control it because it's take a little longer time to dry. So that will be a no for using it. When you can use it, as I mentioned, yes, when the temperature doesn't work for you, when the glue dry too fast. But another thing when you need it, it's for the wrapping technique. When we have lashes growing all over the place, your client have lash grow one way, another way, you remember, we're trying to create a beautiful direction for your clients. We're trying to create a beautiful direction. So when they open their eyes, it's just incredible. But when the lash is growing all over the place, what should you do? Remember about the wrapping technique. It's pretty much when the natural lash grow this way and you try and with the extension, create the direction, whatever you need it. You wrap it under and over, and you can wrap it over, you can wrap it under, but you create the direction for your client. And for this particularly, you really need this little microdot in the end, and the technique for that microdot. It always will be. When you putting the extension on, it's going to be kind of gliding and sliding on a natural lash, so the glue will go even all over the lash, will create a best bond for you, and also will help to leave the direction for your extension what you apply. So also it's very important what surface you're working with when you putting your glue. I know a lot of lash artists use a jetstone, some people use a tape, some people use like a little pallets for the glue. I personally believe you can work with anything if it's comfortable. I just don't like to work with the glue ring because I think it's a pretty big surface and evaporation happening much faster. For me personally, I work either with a tape and I change it constantly, or I work with the pallets. And I'm gonna talk about the difference between a tape and a pallet. I personally like paper tape. The reason why, when you apply your dot of the glue on a paper tape, it's actually have a shape and the shape stay. In paper tape, you pretty much need to change it every, I would suggest 5 to 10 minutes, depending on viscosity. You will change your glue by feelings, but recommendation is 5 to 10 minutes. I know some people recommend to change every 2 minutes. I personally think it's too much time and it's gonna increase your time for work, and work time, it's money, guys, right? So 5 to 10 minutes, and don't forget about crystallization. If you don't know what crystallization means, I will explain very quickly. It's pretty much when you apply a dot of the water on the glue when the glue stops working. The reason why you need it is for your personal health. You don't want to breathe all this evaporation of the glue. As I mentioned before, we do have tape for the glue and we do have a palette. So I'm going to show you how to use glue correctly and how to apply it on the tape. You have to hold your bottle 90 degrees and just apply a small dot without any bubbles to use the glue and just to take it from the top. Also, on the same time, after you apply the glue, you have to wipe the tip of the glue bottle and absolutely close it very, very tight because we don't want any evaporation happening. Okay, so we're doing exactly the same thing with the palette. All what you have to do, hold it 90 degrees, have it full to the top. The same, we're gonna wipe the tip before we close it. So another way to work with, and we actually do carry it in our shop, it's palettes, glue palettes. I like it actually because it's leave the glue fresh for a little longer. As I noticed, and a lot of lash artists do like that too, because it's kind of also like more clean and you don't have to tape it out and throw it out. You just use the same palettes and just using the glue like a water drop for crystallization. The only one thing what a lot of people saying, because it's a plastic, when the glue go inside and start to crystallize inside, the glue actually is still fresh in the middle, so make sure you only pick it up from the middle. It's actually work for tape or the palette method, so it doesn't really matter. But when it start to crystallize, a lot of people say that's maybe not really as healthy for your health. I didn't notice anything different. I still love working with the glue palettes. They changed my life, and I feel like they also changed the how fast I'm working, and I don't have to change the glue as fast as on a tape. So choose your method, whatever works for you. I hope you learn a lot from this mini tutorial, and I can talk about glue for so long, but it's gonna be another time, another day for the whole like webinar or something. I love you guys. Thank you for using DESEYENER product. Big kisses.